Troy lay in ruins. Smoke rose over the once great city as dawn broke over the battlefield, where heroes had fallen, gods had clashed, and fate had taken its toll. The Greeks had won, but their victory came at a terrible price, for though they had conquered Troy, few of them would ever see their homes again. When the fires died and the spoils were divided, the great leaders of Greece began their long journeys, home journeys that would become legends of their own. Yet the gods were not finished with them. The war had left deep scars, and the divine anger still lingered over the mortals who had shown cruelty and arrogance in victory. Agamemnon, commander of the Greek forces, returned to Mycenae, where tragedy awaited. His wife, Clytemnestra, had never forgiven him for the sacrifice of their daughter, Iphigenia. Upon his return, she welcomed him with false warmth and then murdered him in cold blood. His death sparked a cycle of vengeance that would haunt his family for generations. Menelaus, the husband of Helen, did reclaim his wife, but peace was far from his heart. Some say Helen was remorseful, others say she was enchanted still by divine power. Together, they wandered for years across the seas before finally returning to Sparta. And the dancer was Odysseus, the clever king of Ithaca, whose journey home would take 10 long years, a tale immortalized in Homer's Odyssey. He faced storms, monsters, enchantresses, and even the wrath of Poseidon himself before finally returning to his wife Penelope, and his son Telemachus. As for Troy's survivors, their story became the seed of new legends. Aeneas, guided by the gods, carried his father Anchises on his back and led a band of Trojan refugees across the seas. Their wanderings would one day bring them to Italy, where, according to Roman myth, his descendants would found the city of Rome. Thus, from Troy's ashes, a new empire would rise, an empire that claimed to inherit the spirit of both Greeks and the Trojans alike. The Trojan War was more than a story of battle. It was a mirror of human nature, love and pride, honor and revenge, courage and tragedy. It showed that even the mightiest heroes were bound by fate, and that no more mortal could escape the will of the gods. For centuries, poets and storytellers retold its tales, from Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey to Virgil's Aeneid, the countless plays and the artworks throughout history. Each retelling reshaped the legend, blending history with myth until the line between truth and poetry disappeared. Modern scholars believe that the Trojan War may have been inspired by real events, perhaps a conflict between Mycenaean Greeks and the city of Troy, located in modern-day Turkey, around the 12th century BCE. Archaeological evidence at the site of Hisarlik suggests a great city once stood there, one that was burned and rebuilt many times. Whether or not Homer's heroes truly lived, their legacy remains carved into the heart of Western storytelling. From a golden apple tossed by a goddess to a city consumed by fire, the Trojan War endures as one of humanity's greatest sagas, a timeless tale of passion, pride, and the price of glory.